In recent weeks, polls have consistently shown Joe Biden leading Donald Trump, with the latest Wall Street Journal NBC poll showing Biden up 11 points at 51% compared to Trump at 40% with a 42% approval rating.
Amazing. Just this week, the Trump campaign made major changes, of course, just 4 months ahead of the general election. Brad Parscale from campaign manager was replaced with Bill Stepien. Here to discuss the Trump campaign shakeup is executive director of the American Conservative, Johnny Burtka. Great to see you as always, Johnny.
Good to see you, Johnny.
Thanks for having me.
Just react to the shakeup. What do you think is behind that, and do you think it'll ultimately help?
Well, I think what's behind the shakeup is that he's down double digits in multiple polls, and it's not a good look at all. But at the end of the day, I really don't think it's going to matter, because I don't feel like the switch to Stepien is really a change in substance. It might bring about a change in terms of some tactics or techniques, but really I feel like the heart of Trump's victory in 2016 was about the populist, nationalist message that he delivered and how that resonated with people in swing states like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. But it seems to me like at least the campaign itself is wanting to run a campaign that's based more on making fun of Joe Biden, owning the libs, creating great memes for social media. But I really think they need to get back to the core issues that animated Trump's election. Now, it seems to me like the White House, the people that wrote and were involved with the Mount Rushmore speech that Trump delivered, that was absolutely phenomenal. And I think it reiterated a lot of those key themes. But that message doesn't really seem to connect with everything going on at the campaign right now.
That's exactly right, Johnny. And that's why I wanted to bring you on here. I mean, just remember this. Trump is the Buy American candidate, right? How does Joe Biden out-Buy American Donald Trump? I mean, Donald Trump has done less on Buy American in the last, year than Joe Biden has, just even if you look at the terms of rhetoric. How did this happen? And if he actually changed his tune, I mean, how much would it impact the election?
I think it would have a significant impact in the election. I really think the China issue, the manufacturing issue, the Made in America issue was really the heart of his campaign back in 2016. And, in some sense, the coronavirus originating in China presented this tremendous opportunity for the White House to take strong action against China, particularly as it relates to repatriating manufacturing for vital supplies. And there was an executive order that was drafted on that all the way back in March. It was supposed to be signed, and then it got put on ice, and it's been in that spot for months on end. And instead, I really don't know what's happened to it. I suspect there are other voices in the White House that care more about the stock market than they do about jobs and making things here in America, and that's the reason it got nixed.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. And look, I disagree with some. I thought the Rushmore speech was completely beside the point, and no one is voting on statues right now when there's a pandemic and when they don't have control of that and when you have the economic fallout that they do. And I think that's part of the problem, too, is back in 2016, he didn't have to govern, he didn't have to do anything. And it was enough to throw the sort of rhetorical bombs that he did. And it wasn't just that people liked the policy. They loved the idea that he was sticking it in the face of the media and the people that they hate. And that has been a very successful strategy, not just during the campaign, but in the first years of the presidency. Now we're in a very different moment. People want something very different. I mean, we talk here about Sleepy Joe. When he came up with that nickname, it was before all of this happened. Now, Sleepy Joe and let's just have things be a little bit calm is actually a fairly appealing message. He doesn't seem to be able to adjust to that whatsoever, because it's not just a messaging shift that he needs. He needs to actually do some governing, and he seems fairly incapable of doing that piece of it, which he's not going to get reelected if he can't get that piece together.
I think that's exactly right. To me, it seems like people aren't looking for energy right now as much as they are for stability, security, right? They want to know that when they leave the house that they're not going to get coronavirus. And if they do, that they're going to be taken care of. They want to be safe in their communities, right? They want to get back to normal in America. And I think that's a harder message for the president to deliver on. But I think he would do a better job delivering on it if he got back to those core issues that really animated his election in 2016. And sure, he can fight, with all the bravado that he has on behalf of those issues. But I just think there needs to be more substance to the campaign. And I'm not seeing that right now, but I'm hopeful that it could turn around.
I don't know, Johnny. I'm starting to get pretty nihilistic over here. One thing I'm curious for your take on as well is, let's say Trump does lose in 15 points. He's not going to lose by 15 points. Let's say he loses by like 6, which is still huge in American politics. It almost never happens. If he loses by 6 points or something like that in the popular vote, what do you think the mainstream GOP takeaway is going to be? And how are people like you and I going to be able to fight against it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the takeaway is going to be that not only did Trump fail, but Trumpism failed. And the issues that led him to the White House are issues that Republicans shouldn't focus on anymore. And they're going to want to get back to the Romney-Ryan playbook. And there's going to be, a serious push for that. You already saw the Lincoln Project's goal not only to take on Trump, but to take on any potential successors, whether it's someone like Tucker Carlson or someone like Josh Hawley or Marco Rubio. So I really think it's going to be a battle and a fight for the Republican Party. But I do believe that there will be a significant constituency, certainly around the country, but also within Washington, journalists, think tank people that do believe that conservatism needs to reorient around a one nation type message. And so I think there'll still be work to be done, but it's certainly going to be a fight.
Yeah.
All right. Going to be interesting. Always great to have your insights, Johnny. Great to see you.
Good to see you, Johnny.
Thanks so much.
We'll have more Rising for you after this.